Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Morning Mess, and this morning is going to be a real quick video because there's not too much to talk about today other than I'm going to be talking about the Moto E5, Moto E5 Play, and Moto E5 Plus. Now, there's a hands-on video that you guys can find on YouTube, and these devices look great. I mean, seriously, they look great. Unfortunately, the Moto E5 will not be making its way to the US, but however, the Moto E5 Plus and I guess the Moto E5 Play, they will be making their way to the US, which is kind of weird. So basically, from what I can remember, what I read on it spec-wise, Moto E5 Plus is not too much of a big bump up from the Moto E4 Plus. Difference is of course build quality. Build quality is where it's at right now. So I guess the back of it has like polymer glass, and so it's gonna have like more of a glass look, almost similar to the Moto X4. Screen size, from what I read, was gonna be a 6-inch display, and it's gonna have an 18:9 aspect ratio. And from what I'm assuming from the body where the Motorola dimple is at on the back, I'm assuming that that is going to be the fingerprint sensor because there's not one up front. It has, in the camera, which is so weird, it has two, in the sensor you see two holes where you're thinking it's dual camera, but it technically isn't. It's a single 12 megapixel camera from what I'm remembering, and the other cutout hole within the circular sensor is actually a laser autofocus, so for rapid focusing when you're taking photos. So that's kind of weird how it's going to kind of throw people off thinking it's a dual camera sensor, but it's actually not. 5,000 milliamp hour battery on the Moto E5 Plus, and I think it's the Snapdragon 435 is the chipset that's going to be used in these handsets. So it's kind of crazy because the Moto E5 is going to have a 5.7 inch display, and it's going to have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So slightly smaller than the E5 Plus, but the US will not see the Moto E5. So what we're getting is the Moto E5 Play. Now this one, there wasn't really much specs to go off of. It didn't really name off the chipset, so I don't know if it's still using the same chipset as the E5 Plus. But one thing is for sure is that the battery is much smaller. It's going to be a 2800 milliamp hour battery, and the screen display is going to be a 5.2 inch display at a 16:9 aspect ratio. So it's not going to have the long screen. It's going to have what we're pretty much accustomed to right now. So I mean, it's just weird to see that there's three versions of it, and I would assume that the Moto E5 would be what made it here, and the E5 Play would make it internationally. Maybe at some point it may change. Maybe later on down the road the E5 will come to the US. I don't know. I did read that it was going to Brazil, it was going to Europe, it was going to parts of Latin America, which is so crazy that they're going to do that. Motorola released that device here because that would be great. The E5 and E5 Plus complement each other very well, especially with carriers like Boost Mobile that sells the E series, as well as companies like Metro PCS that sells it. It would be great to have because you would have the E5 and the E5 Plus, and there's not really too much of a difference between them other than screen display and battery. But at least if you decide to opt for the E5, which is a smaller variant, it's not going to have way less of battery life than the E5 Plus. It'll be just downside by 1,000 milliamps versus the E5 Play, which only has 2,800. So you get less battery with the E5 Play than you would the Moto E5. So it looks like there's two color combinations here. We got a gold color combination, and then we have like a silver, but for the E5 Plus, it has a darker charcoal grayish color. I really don't know how to feel about that. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, Moto, what are you doing? Like, what are you exactly doing? I know that this is not going to be like a huge jump in what's going on. I feel like that this is just one of those things where it's like, what is happening? Me personally, you guys know, I don't really like when there's all these different specs. I think it makes an equal playing field when devices that have different variations are very close and similar. I do understand the big brother little brother concept, and I'm totally fine with that. But then when you have like when you add another mix in, it just completely just like, okay, why can't we have all three? Like, why does one have to be specifically targeted for one area, one region, and the other ones are just like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So moving on, LG Stylo 4 got hit up on Twitter asking about the LG Stylo 4. Obviously, there's an article being released out, and it does talk about the variant that we know is going to Cricket. But does that mean that Boost Mobile and Metro PCS won't get it? Absolutely not. They will get the device once it's out there. Obviously, LG sends it off to different providers, and Metro is usually the one that always gets the Plus version of it. So can't say there won't be a Stylo 4 Plus. Most likely there will be, and it will go to Metro PCS. But here's the thing. There's a video that if you were to Google up LG Stylo 4, there's a video that's like 2 minutes long, and it shows like this really premium build device, glass back, 18:9 aspect ratio, tall screen, and just looks super premium. And people are like, is this really going to be the Stylo 4? And I have to say, I doubt it, because the Stylo series has always been about bringing you a phablet with a built-in stylus without being costly, such as a Galaxy Note. Now, other people said that they should go that route because the Galaxy Note needs an actual competitor. The LG V series is not technically a competitor to the Galaxy Note. And we know that the Galaxy Note series is the secondary flagship for Samsung, their S series being the number one that they prime out on. And then you have the Note series, and then you have all the other series underneath it. I want to go away from that. I don't want the Stylo series to go up to that type of recognition, because then we'll be looking at paying more. And that's the thing about the Stylo that I really love about that series. That entire series gives you a nice phablet with a built-in stylus and some minor features for that stylus, and they're not going to charge you up the wazoo. So we know for a fact that we could be expecting the device to be under $300, and that's good for consumers' wallets. So I wouldn't want to see a fully premiumed out LG Stylo 4, much less would I care if it had water resistance. It would be nice if they did, don't get me wrong. It would be nice, but let's just be let's be realistic here. The main thing that concerns for me, and maybe some of you guys might agree with me, some of you guys might not, but the main thing for me that is most important is the fact that this series from LG remains budget friendly. That's the number one thing, because if the Stylo series started to become just as ranked as the V series by LG, then how would any of you guys feel with adding in all these really cool near flagship features and specs? Would you guys mind paying $600-700 for the LG Stylo 4 if it was built that way? That's where I'm at, is that I don't want the Stylo series to be at that price. So anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for the morning mess. If you guys enjoyed this broadcast, let me know. Drop a like. First time checking out my channel, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And hit that bell option so you know when I upload a video. Until then, I really appreciate everybody for coming in and watching my videos and helping me get to where I'm at. New adventure on the way. I will let you guys know when that happens. Right now it's under the hush. And yeah, I will probably do a live stream about it and tell you guys what it's all about when the time is right. So until then, guys, thanks for watching. Aloha. I'll talk to y'all later.